Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the SH Figuarts Ultraman Sato? Ultraman Kenji? I don't know what you call this guy. This is Ultraman from the 2024 animated film Ultraman Rising, which normally I'd give my thoughts on, but I actually do plan on reviewing the movie next week. I don't know exactly when I'll be uploading this video, but whenever I do, just expect my review of Ultraman Rising sometime next week. So, yeah. Originally, I wasn't going to get this figure. I wasn't actually going to get any figure from Ultraman Rising, but, well, this figure just kind of popped up, and, well, here we are. I'll talk more about that towards the end of this video, but for now, let's just get into this. Like usual, to start, we'll be taking a look at the paint first, and the painting on this figure, it's simple, but very effective, so let's take a closer look. So as you can see, most of the figure is kind of cast in this, shiny, red material, which looks nice. And it, complements the metallic silver throughout very nicely. His color timer here is painted a very bright shade of blue. And the thing that's really cool, his eyes, usually with, SH Figuarts, Ultraman figures, usually there's, glass eyes to give the eyes a little bit more depth, which I think looks really cool, but here it looks particularly cool because this Ultraman actually has pupils, so depending on, how you angle this figure, kind of, he can, move his eyes a little bit, kinda, and I think that's pretty cool, And I think it does this much better than any of the Hammond Collection Jurassic World figures that are coming out now, but I digress. The only thing that I really don't like, the knees here are actually unpainted, they're just gray, which contrasts very noticeably with the metallic silver throughout, which, it's not the end of the world, but it's still a little annoying, but I digress. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the painting on this figure, and the painting on this figure, besides the knees, the painting here I think looks really good, so the painting here, I'd say gets a pass. Now, we'll take a look at the articulation, and the articulation on this figure is okay. Not incredible, but just okay. So let's take a closer look. So at the base of the head here, we have a ball joint. Not a lot of side-to-side movement, but Ultraman can actually look up very much, which is really cool. The base of the neck here is on a ball joint. The shoulders can move outwards like so, as well as rotate. We have a bicep swivel here. Bend in the elbows. And the wrists are on swivels as well as hinges. The upper torso, we have a very limited ball joint. And at the lower torso, we have an even more limited ball joint. Ultraman can kick forward this much, and he can kick backwards that much. We have a double bend in the knees here. The ankles are on hinges, so they can move downwards like so. And we have a gnarly ankle swivel, which is really cool. You do have to play with it a little bit. There we go. And lastly, we have a hinge for the toes. And that's pretty much it for the articulation on this figure. It can be a little tricky to stand this guy. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the articulation on this figure. And the articulation here, I think it could have been a little better, mainly in the torso, but overall, it's not horrible. So I'd say the articulation gets 3/4 of a pass. Ultraman here comes with a few accessories. He gets a couple of alternate hands, including these open hands, as well as these karate chop hands. And he comes with an alternate color timer piece, which is probably the least amount of accessories I've seen on an SH Figuarts figure. Granted, this is the more, cheaper version. There's, a more premium version that comes with, I think an alternate head and, an Emmy minifigure, which is cool if you're into that, and to be fair, if I had that as an option, I definitely would have gone for that version, but this is the version I got, so I can't really complain right now. But, Not a lot of accessories, but it actually doesn't bother me that much. And again, we'll talk about that towards the end. Now, we'll take a look at the sculpt. And the sculpting on this figure, I think looks good. You know, I think this is a very, very good representation of Ultraman from Ultraman Rising. The skinnier proportions on this figure might be, you know, a bit different to some people compared to, like, other SH Figuarts, like, Ultraman figures. And to be fair, like, I kind of had to get used to this a little bit as well, but it's honestly not that bad, you know? And even, like, some people might look at the skinnier proportions here and think that, like, this figure is, like, not really good to handle or it feels fragile. And I know this is for the articulation, but still, like, I don't know, like, as a whole, I do think it feels nice, you know? It doesn't feel, like, fragile or anything like that. Like, it feels good to move this figure. So, yeah, sculpting on this figure, I think is great. Definitely gets a pass. Now, we'll take a look at the detailing. And something I want to say, just really quick, in last week's video, I said that usually when it comes to, like, Ultraman figures, like, there's usually not a whole lot of detailing because, like, the suits used for, like, the Ultras are, like, usually smooth. But this figure is actually an exception because, well, obviously it's stylized after, like, the movie, but still, there's actually a decent amount of detailing on this figure, so let's take a closer look. So, first of all, you know, there's nothing much on the head. You know, I mean, like, the ears and, like, mouth bit here, like, that's detailed pretty nicely, but for the most part, the head is just the smooth piece. But then you get down to the neck, and the neck has a lot of, like, really nice musculature here. Like, the detailing on the neck looks great. And the detail on the torso here, again, just looks great. Like, the abs here are very well defined. And really quick, let me just say, I see a lot of people online kind of simping for the main character in Shin Ultraman. I forget his name off the top of my head. And while it's not my thing, you know, I have other preferences. I'm not gonna lie, I do see the vision, but I digress. Um, but but yeah, the arms are detailed nicely. Again, just a lot of really nice musculature here. Everything is very nicely defined, and even like the hands have a lot of really nice detailing here as well. Not a whole lot going on in the legs here, but the calf muscles here are defined very nicely. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the detailing on this figure. And the detailing on this figure, overall, I think is very solid. So the detailing here, I'd say definitely gets a pass. Now, we'll do some size comparisons. To start, here we have the SH Figuarts OG Ultraman. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, obviously, like, the proportions on Rising Ultraman, I think are nice, you know, accurate to the show, but it is, like, noticeably different in, like, figure form compared to, like, other Ultraman figures that I have. You know, I'm not gonna lie, it took a little bit of getting used to, but not a bad thing, of course. I'm just saying I'm used to the more, like, you know, realistic proportions of Ultraman, but I digress. Here we have the SH Figuarts Shin Ultraman. Here we have the SH Figuarts Ultra 7. And of course, here we have some hand sanitizer. And here we have Dr. Billy Grant. So at the end of the day, should you get this figure, even with the lack of articulation in the torso, even with the lack of paint in the knees and the lack of, like, accessories, I still recommend you pick this figure up for two huge factors. One, availability. I kid you not, I found this figure in Best Buy, of all places. Like, that alone is kind of a big deal because, like, usually you don't find Ultraman figures, like, in stores. You know, at least retail stores. At least retail stores, like, in America, you almost never find Ultraman figures. So, the fact that I walked into Best Buy and found this guy was kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. But also, price-wise, this figure is only $34. Now, to put things into perspective, like, yeah, for this kind of figure, that still might be a little too expensive, but you also have to understand, usually when I buy an SH Figuarts Ultraman figure, usually they're like, I've paid like $55, $60, $70, even $90, so they can vary in price tags, but this guy here, again, $34. That's kind of crazy. Definitely the cheapest, like, SH Figuarts figure I've ever bought. So, yeah. You know, so, availability and price tag alone, I do recommend you get this figure, you know, especially if you like Ultraman Rising. And also, there is a more premium version that actually comes with like an Emmy minifigure, so if you do get this figure, then I do recommend getting that one. It's more expensive, but still, you're getting more. I just got this one because this is the one that Best Buy had, so yeah. I do recommend you get this figure. You know, whether you get this cheaper alternative or the more expensive, like, premium version that comes with Emmy, either way, this is not a bad figure. It's not perfect, but it's not a bad figure, so I do recommend that you pick this guy up. Anyway, that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zack out.